This week, I felt a little better about things, and sometimes it's just getting products moving that kind of feels good. So I chose some smaller things to get done. We also had a couple sales that we needed to ship out, so that's all good. I have some of these here just to show, but they're still not completely done. So if you can see here, there's still glue on this. It's still very sharp on the edges, so some cleanup needed, but we're making these sets of tongs, and this has a walnut piece up here and a nice curly hickory piece for the tong portion. And then there's a whole series of these, so that's like a maple piece there, and then hickory. These ones I'm excited about. So there's a mix of them that have this box elder, which is from a really cool tree that we milled. We've talked about it quite a bit. So if you follow along, you might know that already. But yeah, really cool red coloring in those pieces. And then this is an older one that I was going to show, like the finished look. It has nice rounded over edges, very polished. And I'm actually going to keep these for us to use. And then the other stuff you can see around me here is scrap art. So this piece, Kaylee made, and I just finished it off. I did the frame. Pretty fun. She used some shavings from, I don't even know what those shavings are from. Do you know what those shavings are from?
I don't.
They're mixed walnut, cherry, and maple, which is pretty cool. And she secured them in with some finish just to like glue them in place. So this is a unique one that I really like, and this is like the meaning of scrap art, is to do weird, fun things with various scrap. This was just a recent one here, and I was just going traditional with the maple walnut, and then I decided to do this with some of the leftovers of the walnut, and just to make it a little different. So I like this one. I always like maple and walnut. Great combo. Try not to tip anything over. And then this piece was my scrap art that basically there's Kaylee's, and then this was mine, like right when we moved here, that we started working on. So this one is pretty cool. It features some elm here that we milled in one of our first milling projects ever. So I love throwing in pieces like that. And then this piece was just, it kind of came together like this. I went to cut up more of that elm that I just mentioned, and these pieces were all book matched. And I just thought I should leave those together book matched because they just make some crazy looking patterns. And then kind of last minute, I decided to add these stripes of maple and walnut. So it's a little different, something different than we've done in the past. So it's cool to get some scrap art done. It does take quite a bit of time, so I don't think it's like a logical business move to make scrap art, but I really enjoy it. It's kind of cool to be able to use the scraps and just use some creativity to make something cool, and it always goes in some weird direction, and I want to make something that's like trendy looking and cool, and then I kind of just make some weird artsy thing that I'm not sure if anyone's gonna like. So that's just kind of how it goes. It kind of sets my brain loose on something. So scrap art. And then the tongs are going to go in. That's going to be a new product that we put on our website, and it's just going to be specific based on the woods that we have around. That'll go with our wooden utensils and boards, and then we're going to do salt and pepper shakers as well. So that'll be coming up. We got 2 orders last week, so one of them was partially made, so I had to finish it off, and it was a spalted maple chopping board. And it had quarter sawn grain the whole way, meaning it was from like a very large chunk of a tree, and it was one side of it, so all the grain was facing up, and you get the different look of the grain when that grain is going straight up and down, as opposed to most wood, which you'd see like more of this or more of this or something, that grain is going straight up and down, so that's cool. Makes for an interesting piece, especially with the spalting. And then we shipped one of my favorite scrap art pieces that we've ever done, and it was a pretty big one, so that's cool. And it's going to our friend Alan over at Beck Street Woodworks, so I'm excited for him to get that piece and appreciate the order. Other things this week, I slacked a bit on social media and YouTube, and I decided just not to feel bad about it because I needed to get some work done just to feel like I'm moving forward, and it really did help me to get in the right headspace to just be making things again and actually spend some significant time in the shop. So sometimes then the content falls off a little bit, and like I've mentioned in the past, there's something to be said for that content driving more sales and making people think about buying things. So I can't let that completely fall off, but I also need that time in the shop. So it's kind of like balancing that and then juggling life also with a almost 4-month-old baby and a wife and 2 dogs and friends and family and all that stuff. So you have to, pick and choose your battles, and sometimes social media is, it falls off a little bit. But we'll be back this week. I have some content banked because it's easy to grab content as I'm building things or whatever. So I'll have some content on the tongs and cutting those box elder pieces, and a few other things. I've been struggling a bit to decide on the next big project and the next YouTube project. Kaylee and I talk all the time about the different directions that things should go, and it's me not making decisions because I have a lot of things I want to do, and I know realistically that I can't do them all. And then I end up not feeling good about all the things I'm leaving off the table, and then I don't ever put anything on the table. So I'm working through figuring out, like, it's better to do something. And I've talked about doing a cool box out of some wood that we've milled, with box joints and kind of a fancy little keepsake box. I've talked about doing a dresser build because I've always wanted to build a dresser. And then I've talked also about just either a dining table, coffee table, or even some little end tables. So, hey, if you have any idea what I should do, just go ahead and tell me, and I'll probably do it because I can't make up my mind. But otherwise, I will make up my mind at some point, and we're going to have a video coming out soon. And one of my ideas also is just to show this process, because it's actually machining this piece here is actually a pretty interesting process, and the way I do it is probably not the way everyone would do it, but it definitely works. And I like these things. I'm excited to have some in our kitchen. But yeah, anyways, I had some struggles coming up with that next project and that next YouTube video. We're kind of on pause on a couple things we've quoted out, and we have potentially a lot of work coming our way in the new year. And until then, it's kind of like there's some self-guided time. Besides a milling job and some other small things coming up, it's like I have the time actually to put together a really good big project and a YouTube video to go with it. And that's something I just need to decide on and move forward. That was the week. Thanks for watching this, and keep an eye out for the next one.